Now just try to follow this. You love someone. You see the strain in their eyes, the confusion in their talk, the heaviness in their shoulders. And because you love, you hurry with words, good words, right words, counsel that would surely help if only they would take it. And you have noticed, have you not, that the more you say, the less reaches them. That your sentence, however wise, meets a wall. That your urgency makes their fear dig in its heels. You have seen it. The advice that bounces off, the explanation that complicates, the comfort that somehow stings. And the heart says, "But I cannot stand by and do nothing." Oh, no, no, no. We are not advocating doing nothing. We are removing the one thing that never helps. The personal will that must be heard, must be obeyed, must be thanked. And we are restoring the only thing that always helps, but never intrudes. Please remember this point, and hold it gently as we begin. The deepest help is often the help you do not announce, do not push, do not attach your name to. There is a form of help that travels no road built of argument, no bridge built of persuasion. It does not have to cross their resistance because it does not set out from your ego. It is the help that begins where the tongue stops and the heart turns. It is not silence as a tactic, do not mistake me. It is silence as communion. It is not passivity, it is presence. It is not a clever psychology. It is spirit recognized as the only actor. Now we are not here as the world is here, to manage people, to fix their choices, to arrange their outcomes, to make of them projects for our benevolence. Oh no. We as disciples are here for a single recognition. God is the presence where the world says, "This person is in need." God is, and that's enough to know. God is, that's all. If God is the life, the mind, the law, the love of all being, then our help is to behold that fact where the appearance denies it. Not to force it, not to sell it, to behold it. This is discipleship, not technique. This is obedience to a principle, not the display of a personality. Enter into thy closet, you remember. Do not take that as poetry. Take it as method. The closet is the place where your lips cannot glory and your mind cannot strut. It is the silence in which the Father that seeth in secret is allowed to be the only seer, the only knower, the only doer. Secrecy is not a moral ornament. Secrecy is the spiritual mechanism by which the human claim to power is withdrawn, so that power may be itself. When words have failed, and they will, go in, shut the door on your opinions, your fears, your plans to save that dear one, and let God be God. Let the presence announce itself without your trumpet. So, to begin, the help that does not intrude is the help that never passes through your ego or their resistance. It moves from the secret recognition of God to the quiet evidence of peace. When you feel the urge to rush, let that be your bell to retire within. When you long to be useful, let that longing turn you not outward to management, but inward to recognition. And in that stillness, where no one hears your name, real help is already on the way. Because God is already the way. Now just try to follow this, because it will save you years of blundering. There are two ways of helping, and actually there is no relationship between the two. They are entirely separate and distinct movements of consciousness. One is human helping, advice, pressure, persuasion, emotional rescue, the reaching out from a personal sense of love or fear to change a person, to change an event, to change a condition. The other is spiritual helping, the recognition of being, the beholding that God is the only presence, the only mind, the only life of all who appear. One acts from personal will outward. One rests in divine presence within. And please remember, one must make a choice of one or the other. Human helping, let us name it clearly, seeks to rearrange appearances by mental or emotional force. It argues, pleads, scolds, flatters, or bribes. It leans its weight against another's resistance and calls that love. It is anxious, and because it is anxious, it intrudes. It may wear tender words or severe words, but behind both is the same premise. I must make this right. Oh, no, no, no. That is the very premise we lay down at the door of the closet. For as long as I must make it right, God is only an idea, a mascot for our will. Spiritual helping is not that. Spiritual helping is not sending thoughts, not beaming energy, not mental suggestion, not the quiet manipulation of another's field. Oh no. Spiritual helping is the cessation of self as cause. It is retiring from the picture into the secret place and letting the Father that seeth in secret be the only actor. It is the simple, steadfast recognition, God is. God is the life, the law, the intelligence, the supply, the love of this one. Not to make it so, please remember, only to behold what is so. Now here is the correction you must keep before you. Mixing these two will rather produce instability. To try to pray while still manipulating is to speak blessing with the lips and curse with the premise. You go into the closet, yes, but you carry them in under your arm with a set of instructions for God. You attempt to recognize the allness of God while maintaining a quiet plan for how they should act tomorrow morning. That dual allegiance cancels the prayer in your own consciousness. Rarely will the right results come from the combination of them. Ethically, too, there is a wall you dare not cross. Silent prayer is not control. It is not an attempt to override another's will. It is not an invisible strategy to make them see it your way. It is the withdrawal of your will altogether. You do not fix their mind. You do not fix their behavior. You do not fix their circumstance with your mind. Oh, no, no, no. You surrender mind to mind. You resign will to will. And in that surrender, you behold God as the only self of all involved. So choose. When you help as man, admit it and accept the consequences of human means. When you help as disciple, be single. Enter thy closet, shut the door on management, and stand in one recognition. God is, and that's enough to know. Rest there until peace is present. Then let peace, not pressure, be the evidence that helping has occurred. Now just try to follow this. The Master did not give us poetry. He gave us practice. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet. And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Take that not as ornament, not as a pious flourish, but as governing law for this work. Enter, shut, pray, to the Father in secret. And the reward, whatever form harmony must take, appears openly, but not because a person exerted a power. Please remember that. Secrecy is the doorway through which power enters without a human name tagged to it. If this were about the opinions of people, whether they will approve your spirituality, whether the world thinks you religious, We could manage that with discretion and tact. Oh, no, no, no. This is about something far deeper. Secrecy is the spiritual mechanism that prevents the self from claiming authorship. It bars the little I from stepping onto the stage after the music has begun and saying, "See what I have done?" The moment the self touches the work, even with a gentle finger of pride, even with a soft desire to be appreciated, the flow is pinched. Grace does not mingle with vainglory. The Father in secret cannot be the only actor if we are rehearsing our bows. And here is where the temptation comes. Subtle, respectable, and so very human. We want to be kind. We want to comfort. We want at least to say, "I'm praying for you," so that they know they are not alone and we feel ourselves useful. But in that very sentence, if you watch honestly, the line is crossed, and the help stays on the level of person to person, my mind to your mind, my sentiment to your need. And then we wonder why it tires us, why it stirs argument, why it does not rise. The help has not yet passed through the door and left our authorship behind. Now then, the discipline is silent recognition. Not silence as coyness, not silence as a tactic to gain influence, but silence as obedience to the law. Enter, shut, behold. No announcement, no hinting, no, "Just so you know, I'm holding you in light." For even that little ribbon ties the act to a self. Silent recognition is the inward beholding that God is. God is the only presence, the only life, the only mind of this one. Not making it so, recognizing it so. God is, and that's enough to know. God is, that's all. Please remember, secrecy here is not concealment of good. It is consecration of the work. By withdrawing the human claim, we leave the field clear for the Father in secret to be himself as peace, as order, as right action, and then, yes, as the open reward, without our trumpet, without our signature, without the fatigue of playing God. Thank you. Thank you. Now then, follow this carefully, because here is the fulcrum of the whole work. Never believe you are sending help to anyone, anywhere. The moment you say, "My prayer is going out to them," you have made two, you as sender and they as receiver, and you have departed from the one. Oh, no, no, no. In spirit there is no here and there, no mine and thine, no I who send and you who must get. In him we live and move and have our being. One life, one mind, one love. Please remember this point. Prayer is not transmission. Prayer is recognition. What then is prayer? Not petition, not persuasion, not the attempt to get God to move from reluctance to action or from absence to arrival. Prayer is the beholding that God already is what is required. God does not give peace. God is peace. God does not give wisdom. God is wisdom. God does not give love. God is love. God does not give supply. God is the substance of supply. God does not give life. God is life itself, the life of you, the life of that one, the life of all that appears. When this is recognized, harmony is not imported, it is uncovered. The veil is on our concept, not on God. Please notice how the old habit sneaks back in religious clothing. I will hold them up. I will send light. I will direct healing thoughts. All of that presumes a power in you to project and a lack in them to be filled. That is duality. That is two-ness. And two-ness is the only illness there is. The Master did not say, project across the sea, but be still and know that I am God. Not I will become, not I might be, but I am. God is. God is. God is, and that's enough to know. You say, but they are far away. They need my help now. If God is omnipresent, where is far? If God is the mind of this one, where is the empty space where wisdom must be shipped? If God is love, where is the loveless corner that demands your parcel of affection? Can we really doubt that omnipresence is present? Only our thought wanders. Bring it home. Enter the closet, shut out the picture of distance, shut out the picture of deficiency, and rest in the fact, I and the Father are one, and that one constitutes this one also. Do not attempt to make God do. God is. Do not outline effects. Behold cause. Do not work up feelings. Recognize fact. And wait, not for signs, not for reports, not for confirmation, but for that gentle authority that steals over you as peace. That peace is the witness that the recognition has taken place. After that, whatever form the open reward must take, let it appear without your signature. You have not sent help. You have bowed before the help. God is. God is. God is. And that's enough to know. Now then, let us make this very practical, because without practice we are left with beautiful words and no bread. Tonight, not tomorrow, you can do this. And if you will do it exactly as given, you will find that the help which does not intrude is not a mystery at all. It is obedience to a simple order. Please remember, we are not sending anything. We are recognizing what is. We are withdrawing from the picture of trouble and letting the Father who seeth in secret be the only actor. First, enter into thy closet. If you have a room, a chair, a corner, use it. If you have only your own breath, use that. But choose privacy and stillness. Shut the door, literally if you can, inwardly if you must. Turn off the lights that blink at you, the impulse to text, to talk, to analyze, to rehearse what you will say when you are done. Oh, no, no, no. The tongue is to be still. The mind is to sit down. This is not the hour to manage. This is the moment to withdraw. Close your eyes if that helps, and notice only this. I am present, and in this presence there is room for God to be God. Second, name nothing in detail. Do not rehearse their story. Do not outline their symptoms, their failures, their fears. Refuse the mental movie that keeps the problem alive. The mind will offer, yes, but you must consider what happened last week. You must remember what they said. And you answer by shutting the door again. Be still. If you name the darkness, you keep your gaze on it. Please remember, we are not improving a human picture. We are surrendering it. Third, acknowledge the only presence. Gently, steadily insist, not emotionally, not loudly, but with the quiet authority of truth. There is one life, one mind, one being, and it is God, here and now. God is. God is. God is. That's enough to know. You are not making it so. You are agreeing with what is so. Rest on that, the way you would rest on a rock and not on a rumor. Fourth, in that light, recognize their true identity without effort. Not a struggling mortal needing your rescue, but the offspring of God, constituted of spirit, governed by the law of love, maintained by the one mind. You do not project that upon them. You behold it as already the fact. I and the Father are one, and that one constitutes this one also. Not by argument, by recognition. Fifth, rest until peace is felt. Not excitement, not a swell of emotion. The quiet peace that passeth understanding, soft, weightless, authoritative, will come as you cease from doing. Wait. If the mind argues, do not argue back. Shut the door again and return to God is. Let peace be the witness that communion has occurred. Finally, end without a flourish. No dramatic conclusion, no grand amen. Simply a soft gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. And release. Do not tell them. Do not check. Do not touch the work with your fingers. Leave them in God, and leave yourself there too. The method is simple. Withdraw, recognize, rest, until peace comes. Now just try to follow this, because this is where most of the labor lies. You go into the closet, you shut the door, you begin the recognition, and at once the mind is up on its feet with its papers in hand. But it's real, it's urgent, it's worsening, I must do something. And there you are, tempted to argue with it, to compose better thoughts than its thoughts, to throw brighter affirmations at darker pictures. Oh, no, no, no. Please remember, when the mind argues, you do not argue back. That would be to accept its jurisdiction and then ask for mercy. We are not under that law. We return to the secret place and let peace be the authority. This means a clean refusal of the old forms of worship. Not fear, not diagnosis, not forecasting, not mental wrestling. All of these are ceremonies at the altar of appearance. They say, "This picture has power, and I must contend with it." No, we will not bow. Our practice is not to inflate or deflate the picture. Our practice is to withdraw the gaze and behold the only presence. God is, and that's enough to know. God is, that's all. The picture shouts, "But look at me!" And you quietly shut the door again. How? With a simple reset that severs the debate. Whisper it inwardly. Father, thou seest in secret. Say it as one closes a latch. Father, thou seest in secret. With those words, you dismiss the mind from the bench. You acknowledge the only judge present. You retire the case from human counsel and rest it in infinite understanding. And then, be still. Not another line of defense. Not another paragraph of explanation. Father, thou seest in secret. God is. You say, "But I don't know what to do." Be grateful. Please remember this paradox. Be grateful if you do not know how to fix it. Your lack of personal understanding is the opening through which His understanding, which is infinite, enters. As long as you still know, you will still try. And as long as you try, you will keep the stage that belongs to God. Stand aside. Yield. Let the remembrance come. He performeth that which is given me to do. Not what I seize, what is given. Do not fear that this is passivity. It is not. It is non-interference in consciousness. It is removing panic, removing personal authorship, removing the fever of results so that right action, if any is required, may present itself from peace. Action may come, An impulse to speak one simple sentence, to extend a hand, to close a door, to wait an hour. But it will not be sprung from fear. It will not be a splash of anxiety. It will be the open reward of secret recognition. You will know it by its quiet authority. So each time the argument returns, and it will, do not take the bait. Enter, shut, behold. Father, thou seest in secret. God is. Rest there until the soft weight of peace settles again. Let that peace, and only that peace, be the arbiter, the witness, the proof that the jurisdiction has shifted from the mind's tribunal to the Father in secret. Thank you. Thank you. Now just try to follow this, because without this safeguard, the whole practice is spoiled at the root. Silent prayer is not a clever way to run another's life without speaking. It is not the art of nudging their choices, not the invisible hand upon the wheel of their day, not a beam of your will dressed up in holy language. Oh, no, no, no. The moment you attempt to make them see, to make them change, to make them agree, you have crossed from recognition into control. And control is always of the human self. Please remember this point. The unspoken prayer becomes trespass the instant it is used to gain an outcome you prefer. What then is within our jurisdiction? Only this: to behold. To recognize God where the senses report a problem. To acknowledge the one presence, the one mind, the one life constituting this one, here and now. That is all. You are not imposing. You are revealing to yourself what already is. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. If liberty is the mark of spirit, any practice that binds, pressures, or angles for consent is not spirit. It is personality extending itself into another's garden, and we as disciples do not enter uninvited. Now please hear this with tenderness. You do not need permission to love. Love is not an intrusion. Love is God. But you do need purity of motive to pray without ego. If there is even a thread of, I must get them to, stop. Return to the closet. Withdraw the agenda. Let the simple truth stand. Father, thou seest in secret. God is. When the motive is clean, you feel it as reverence, not as push, as release, not as leverage. You are content to behold God as their identity and to leave them free. Free even to walk a path you would not choose, because the path is not your Savior. God is. Now then, suppose after the prayer you are moved to speak or to act. Let your test be peace. If speech arises from the quiet authority of peace, it will be simple and without hooks. If there is pressure behind it, urgency to convince, the sting of fear, the ache to be right, oh no, be silent again. Silent recognition attaches no leash to another's will. It does not fasten them to your image of their good. It beholds their true self and bows. And please remember the discipline of secrecy in speech. Do not return later with, I prayed for you and then things improved. That sentence steals the work from God and nails it to your name. It also binds them to you with a little debt, and debts are not of spirit. Thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Let the open reward appear without your announcement. Keep the root buried where it belongs. Gratitude can be abundant. Thank you. Thank you. But keep it directed where it arose. Here are your guards at the door. Am I trying to get an outcome, or am I content to know God? Would I be at peace if nothing outward changed, because God is? Can I keep this entirely secret? If the answer falters, do not force the work. Re-enter the closet and be still. Ethics are not an ornament here. They are the channel's cleanliness. We do not trespass. We do not manipulate. We do not claim. We behold. We release. We trust the liberty of God to be the life of this one. God is, and that's enough to know. Thank you. Thank you. Now just try to follow this, because without this understanding, you will keep throwing away the very fruit you have been given. The first reward of this work is not a change out there. It is peace in you. Not as emotion, not as relief because you saw something shift, but as that quiet authority that settles and says without words, God is. God is. God is, and that's enough to know. Please remember this. The open reward may come in many forms, but the first reward is always the same. Peace that passeth understanding. If that peace has appeared, the recognition has occurred. Why is this so? Because the prayer itself is not the adjusting of persons and events. The prayer is the return of consciousness to God. When consciousness is anchored in the one, the many take their places without strain. When consciousness is roaming in the many, it cannot find the one. And there is the fatigue, the compulsion to fix, the restless circling we have called help. So do not measure your prayer by a report from the scene. That is the world's way. The world needs proof, needs numbers, needs the visible token before it will consent to believe. We are not of that world. We, as disciples, rest in presence, and from presence we let the open reward appear or not appear, as it must. Our confidence is not in effects. Our confidence is in cause. Now here is the danger, and you know it by experience. You leave the closet with peace in your heart, and within minutes you are watching their behavior, stalking for updates, refreshing messages, reading between lines, taking the pulse of appearances as if the stock ticker of their choices could certify your prayer. Oh, no, no, no. The instant you look back for signs, you have stepped again under the jurisdiction of sight, and sight will argue with you all day. But look, no change. But look, worse. And your peace evaporates because you have returned the weight of responsibility to the human self. Please remember the practical test. If you have peace, you have done the work. If you have anxiety, you have slipped back into personal responsibility. What then do you do when you notice the hand reaching for the phone to check? The mind itching to compare today with yesterday? You shut the door again. Be still and know that I am God. Not, I will be when a text arrives. Not, I am if they act better. But I am. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. The peace is the sign. Let that be enough. Let peace be the witness in your own bosom that the Father in secret has been acknowledged. And then walk out into your day without peeking behind the curtain to see if God is performing to your schedule. You may say, but how will I know what to do? You will know by peace. Action that rises from peace carries its own quiet authority. Action that erupts from fear carries its own noise. Choose your jurisdiction. The world seeks signs and misses the substance. The disciple abides in substance and lets the signs take care of themselves. God is, and that's enough to know. Thank you. Thank you. Now, just try to follow this, because here is where the mind protests that real life is an exception. Actually, there are no exceptions. The situations change, the costumes change, the temptations change, but the method does not change. Only the temptation changes. The recognition remains the same. Please remember this point before we touch a single case. If you shift the method to suit the story, you have already entered the story and left the secret place. Take family tension. You want harmony. The impulse rises, "Father, make them see it my way." Oh, no, no, no. That is still Tunis dressed in Sunday clothes. You do not pray for agreement with you. You withdraw from both positions and acknowledge one mind as the only communicator and governor in that household. Enter the closet, shut out sides and histories, and recognize God is the mind of each one here, intelligence, love, order already present. Rest until peace comes. If words are later required, they will come from peace and carry no barbs, no pressure, no superior smile. Consider conflict at work. Accusations, turf, the whisper of enemies. The temptation is to marshal arguments, to recruit allies, to replay grievances. Oh no. Withdraw the charge from that battery. Enter, shut, behold one mind. Where one mind is, there is no opposite power, no competing wills with real authority. Let the heat drain in the presence of that recognition. Then, if you must write an email, attend a meeting, set a clear boundary, do it from the jurisdiction of peace. You will notice the tone alters, and tone is more convincing than paragraphs. Now addiction and compulsion. Please be very clear. You do not hold a child of God under a label and then try to pray the label off. The more you repeat addict, the deeper you etch a mask on your own sight. Behold instead the unbroken Christ identity, whole, governed by divine law, incapable of being severed from wisdom. This is not condoning harm. This is refusing to empower it in consciousness. Outwardly, you may remove keys, call for help, refuse money, set firm boundaries. Inwardly, you will not hate. You will not fear. You will not assume superiority. Father, thou seest in secret. God is the life and law of this one. Rest there until peace speaks. Grief and sorrow come, and the temptation is to fix feelings with verses, to hurry comfort by command. Oh no, do not try to wrench tears away. Be still and recognize life as eternal presence here, not as a doctrine to silence emotion, but as a light in which the ache can breathe and soften. I am the resurrection and the life. Stay with I am until the sharpness yields to a tender, unforced consolation. Comfort that is organic does not forbid memory. It bathes it. When direct help is required, and sometimes it is, do not confuse the planes. Outward responsibilities remain. You may make the call, drive the car, sign the paper, lock the door. Do it cleanly. But inwardly, do not move from peace. No fear, no hatred, no superiority. Render unto Caesar what keeps order. Render unto God your trust in omnipresent mind. Let your action be simple, and your recognition be single. In every case, the rule is identical. Enter, shut, behold. Refuse the bait of the scene. Let peace be the authority. From that peace, whatever must be said or done will appear as the open reward. God is. God is. God is, and that's enough to know. Thank you. Thank you. Now, just try to follow this. Tonight, we are not learning about prayer. We are entering the closet and letting recognition replace effort. Please remember this point as we begin. The ease is not laziness. The ease is evidence that you are not the doer. Sit where you are. Let the body rest as if it had arrived home. Shoulders soft, jaw loose, hands unclenched. Breathe as the sea breathes, without counting, without pushing. Oh, no, no, no. No strain. No posture to achieve. No spiritual performance to present. The quietness of your body and breath is part of the proof that the small I has stepped aside. Just be here. Now, very gently, allow the one for whom you would help to appear in thought. Only a glimmer, as if you saw them standing in the doorway of awareness. Do not collect their story. Do not rehearse their need. Do not carve their face into your mind. Bring them to the threshold and then release the picture. Let it dissolve into presence like a name slipping back into silence. You are not holding a person. You are consenting to behold God where a person seemed to be. Enter. Shut. Behold. Now, with no effort, begin the recognition. There is one presence. There is one life. There is one mind. God is, and God is here. Say it inwardly, not as a chant to persuade, but as a simple witness to fact. There is one presence, one life, one mind. God is, and God is here. Be still. Father, thou seest in secret. Let that sentence close the latch on the door of your mind. Father, thou seest in secret. No further description is needed. No details, no remedies. Father, thou seest in secret. In that light, affirm identity without description. In God, there is no brokenness to repair, only wholeness to be acknowledged. Not my wholeness given to them, not their wholeness manufactured by effort, but God's own being as the life and law of this one. I and the Father are one, and that one constitutes this one also. Not argument, recognition. Now rest again. Father, thou seest in secret. Feel the mind try to add a paragraph. Gently refuse. Father, thou seest in secret. Feel the body settle into a softer rhythm. Let it be. God is. God is. God is, and that's enough to know. If a picture intrudes, do not argue with it. Do not improve it. Shut the door again and return to the simplicity. There is one presence, one life, one mind. God is, and God is here. Allow the quiet authority of peace to spread as a soft weight within. That peace is the witness that recognition has taken place. Wait there a moment more, as if listening to a presence that does not need words. Now release. Without flourish, without conclusion, simply whisper within, "Thank you. Thank you." Leave them in God, and leave yourself there too. Do not think another thought about outcomes. No checking, no reaching back. The work is finished for now. Walk out quietly under the same sentence that guided you in. Father, thou seest in secret. God is. Now just try to follow this, because integration is not complicated. It is simply faithfulness. For 7 days, once each day, give 5 to 10 minutes to the same practice we have entered together. Choose a quiet time you can honor, morning before the world begins to speak, or evening when you can withdraw without haste. Enter into thy closet, shut the door. Behold the One. That is all. Do not report it to anyone. Do not post it. Do not even journal it for credit, as if the soul were collecting gold stars. Oh, no, no, no. Make a little mark on your calendar if you must to remember the appointment, but not a record of outcomes or feelings to admire later. The Father seeth in secret. Let your obedience be as secret as His seeing. Each day, allow one person or situation to come to awareness. Not by hunting, not by choosing the hardest case as a test, but by letting what naturally arises stand at the threshold. Do not collect details. Do not decorate the story. Enter. Shut. Behold. One presence, one life, one mind. God is. Father, thou seest in secret. Rest until peace comes. Then say within, thank you. Thank you. Leave them in God, and leave yourself there too. This is the discipline, the same method, the same stillness, the same secrecy. Each day for 7 days. Please remember the no follow-up rule. After you have closed the door, do not open a window to peek. Do not revisit mentally to see if there is movement. The mind will come back with its clipboard. Any results? Any news? And you will answer by re-entering the closet in a breath. God is. God is. God is. And that's enough to know. Release again. If it returns 10 times, return to God 10 times. Your repetition is not effort. It is fidelity to jurisdiction. What will change first is not them. It is you. You will notice less urgency to fix, as if the heat had been lowered under the pot of your reactions. You will notice resentment draining, the old case you had prepared against them losing its sharpness. Compassion will appear, not pity, which looks down and therefore binds, but compassion, which beholds God where a problem seemed to be, and therefore frees. You will find yourself quieter inside situations that once dictated your tone. That quiet is not indifference, it is authority without noise. It is the first open reward. Set also a boundary for your speech these 7 days. If you must speak to the one you have held, speak from peace, or do not speak. If peace is not present, be silent 1 minute longer, or an hour, or a day, until the words you carry are without hooks. Do not leak your secret work, I prayed for you, because that sentence steals both liberty and glory. Let your words, when they come, be simple, clean, and free of pressure, as fruit is free of advertisement. Consistency in secrecy builds a stable principle. Day by day, you cease to be a personality trying to help, and become a transparency through which help flows without personal display. You will not feel bigger, you will feel smaller and freer, and the peace will be nearer than your breath. 7 days, 5 to 10 minutes. Enter, shut, behold, God is, and that is enough. Thank you. Thank you. Now just try to follow this, because the whole road we have walked narrows to a single step. The governing law is simple, and it will not bend for us. Enter into thy closet, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Please remember what that means in practice. It means we stop trying to be seen even by ourselves. No showing our work to the mind for grades. No collecting testimonies in a private museum. Oh, no, no, no. We have learned a cleaner way. Withdraw from the picture. Recognize the one. Rest until peace comes, and then go on our way without display. The Father seeth, the Father rewards. That is the law. We do not intrude on it with commentary. Now then, identity. We as disciples are not rescuers. We are witnesses. We are not managers of outcomes. We are beholders of presence. We do not send help. We recognize God as the help. God is the health. God is supply. God is peace. God is, and that's enough to know. You are not asked to lift anyone. You are asked to behold that there is no anyone apart from God to be lifted. You are not asked to argue against darkness. You are asked to recognize light. Leave the person in God, and leave yourself there too. The one who tries to carry another on their back soon worships their own strength. The witness rests in the one and sees that burden dissolve where it never had substance. Please take this as your final test of completion. Can you release without anxiety or display? If you can walk away in quiet confidence, not peeking, not pressing, your work is finished, for now. If the itch to check returns, it is not a sin. It is simply your cue to re-enter. Father, thou seest in secret. God is. Let the soft weight of peace settle again, because peace is the first open reward and the only proof you need that jurisdiction has shifted from self to spirit. Tomorrow the phone will ring. Messages will arrive. Faces will appear with their weather. Choose your jurisdiction again. Speak from peace or be silent. Act if action rises from that quiet authority, or wait if it does not. Render unto Caesar whatever order requires. Render unto God the undivided recognition of one presence. And keep it secret. Do not advertise your obedience. Do not make a necklace of outcomes. Let the open reward appear in its time, and when it does, do not touch it. Bow and pass by. We close as we began, with the simplest truth, which is the whole truth. God is. God is. God is, and that is enough. Be still and know, I am. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Carry that peace like a key in your bosom, and open doors with it, quietly, without announcement. The work is done in consciousness. Now go back into life without display, without anxiety, without grasping, released and releasing. Thank you. Thank you.